Hey guys, it's Landon from the Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host today, and I'm here to talk to you about DraftKings DFS lineups, specifically the Millionaire Maker lineup, that $20 lineup, and hopefully this is tournament plays. This is low risk or high risk, high reward plays, and you have to risk it to make the biscuit here. We're talking about 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games on Sunday, and I'm going to go with you here. I'm going to jump into the Millionaire Maker lineup and go through the slate and talk about every play that I like, which ones I'm avoiding, and we'll figure this out together here. Right away at the top of the slate, there's Lamar Jackson at Washington. He's $8,100. Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, and Kyler Murray follow him. That's between the $8,100 and $7,000 mark. So far in the Millionaire Maker lineup, these top-end quarterbacks are what's making people money. Russell Wilson was in a lineup this past week. Josh Allen and Dak Prescott have also won people $1 million. If you stack these guys with their wide receivers and run it back generally with a player on the opposite team, you're winning some serious money. So we got to decide today if it's worth it to pay up for these quarterbacks or go down the list. As I go down, I've got Josh Allen at New York. That's a great matchup. Desean Watson versus Minnesota. That's a really great matchup. See, the Big Ben Tennessee game, I'm not going to talk about Pittsburgh or Tennessee players. As of this moment, we don't know if that game's even going to happen. So I'm just going to avoid that game altogether to start. We'll figure that out later. If the game is actually happening, get me on Twitter, get me on Instagram, and I'll let you know what my favorite plays are. Generally, those players are going to be very low owned. So if the game is happening, you could jump in with James Conner or Deontay Johnson or Juju, and you'll probably get a pretty low ownership. Going down the list here, Joe Burrow at 6,300 versus Jacksonville is a great one. Same in that same matchup, Gardner Minshew after a bad week at 5,900 is also pretty good. The rest of these plays, Baker Mayfield at Dallas, I think is a good way to save some money at $5,800. And we saw Nick Foles come in and win that game, but I'm probably not going to play that. So these are right here. I'm going to jump in and go with Desean Watson right away here. Against Minnesota, it's a really bad defense. It could be a shootout. But again, I'm not sure if I'm going to play Deshaun. I'll see if the stacks are there. Running back options. Kamara at $8,000 is the most expensive running back on the slate. He had an insane game this past week. He's probably going to be pretty highly owned. They play Detroit. Not a great matchup. But generally this week, I'm going to pay down a little bit. Dalvin Cook at Houston, I think, is a really good play at $7,600. We have Henry. I'm not going to do that. Austin Eckler at Tampa Bay, I'm going to avoid. The Nick Chubb and the Kareem Hunt play, both of those guys I like a lot versus Dallas. So if you're going to play that Dallas game, I wouldn't mind going back in. You know what? I'm going to get rid of Deshaun Watson. I'm going to play, I'll play Dak Prescott in that game. I'll also look to play Kareem Hunt in that game. And then I could stack Mr. Prescott with one of his wide receivers. But first I'm going to stop here and go at the top. Deshaun Watson, love the matchup. I think this is a great play to stack with Kyler Murray. Lockett is big on this list, and DK Metcalf. If you want to go with the Russell Wilson, Lockett, Metcalf stack again, I don't blame you whatsoever. It seemed to work out great. Diggs I like against Las Vegas. Robinson I like against Indianapolis. Kupp had a big game, but you know what? I'm kind of going to maybe after that big week, I'm not going to play Kupp this week against New York. I think the running backs in that matchup are better options. Thielen is pretty good against Houston. Maybe I'll pop Thielen in that matchup. Before I really move on from running backs, I want to go further down the list here. I don't mind Jonathan Taylor. James Robinson, it's going to be interesting. I think he could stay hot against Cincinnati. Kenyon Drake, I really like a lot against Cincinnati. I think it's a really good opportunity to stack Kyler, Drake, and Hopkins. Darrell Henderson, I would play. Joe Mixon, I would play. But I want to let you go down this list. We're going to go down this list to the cheap running backs to see if there's any way we could save any money. And so looking at $4,000 down here, I'm looking at Kerryon Johnson in a tough matchup to get some volume, hopefully get in the end zone. I'm also looking at Gus Edwards in a possible blowout game versus Washington. Gus Edwards to get some serious work against Washington. We've seen a rotation at running back here, but if it's a blowout, Gus Edwards could get a lot of work. He got quite a few carries versus J.K. Dobbins and Ingram at $4,000. I think that's a really good option. McKissick has been getting some work in the passing game. McKissick is available. Not super thrilled about it, but these are there's not really any free squares at running back in my opinion. Even up here at Carlos Hyde is still kind of over the budget for a cheap running back. So let's see here. Hyde is 5,300. I'm not really thrilled about playing Hyde at this point. So some interesting plays at running back. Myles Gaskins in play, but we'll keep on going here. More wide receiver options. This is a chance to pay down at wide receiver. I'm going to scroll down to the $5,000 mark. We have, I think Curtis Samuel is in play against Arizona. Marvin Jones Jr. for a bounce back game and a tournament option is in play as well. I believe Hunter Renfrow is in play as well. Brandon Cooks is an interesting option, only at $4,500 versus Minnesota. That seems to be a misprint. $4,500 for Brandon Cooks seems to be wrong. It's a really good matchup. We'll see about ownership to see how highly he's going to be owned. But, I mean, that's a really good option. If I'm going to stack Prescott, I'm going to look at his options. So right away, we have Cooper at $6,700. Not bad. We have Gallup at $6,200. His price has gone up. I was big on him last week. And then we have CeeDee Lamb at $5,400. I'll just go for the cheapest option there, especially with my stack. If I can go with two options, I'm going to go with the two cheapest options. I'm going to go... Oops, I'm in running backs. I'm going to go with the flex play and go with Gallup in the flex as well to stack with my quarterback, Dak Prescott. For defenses this week, last week I played $2,000 defense and I got 0, but it left me options at that position or with that salary. I mean, I could play guys like Zeke Elliott. I could play guys like Dalvin Cook last week because I saved money at the defense. This week, it's a little bit more tricky. If I go right down this list, Dolphins are the only $2,000 defense. The cheapest defense that I like is the Houston Texans. So whether you believe in that or not, I think Kirk Cousins can take sacks. I think he can throw interceptions. And they have a decent amount of pressure. They know how to get after Kirk Cousins in that offensive line. So that's where I'm going at $2,500 at defense. If you're looking to pay up for defense, I believe the Colts are in play as well versus Chicago. And then obviously the Ravens are a great play. But down this list, I'm going to go with the Texans defense. I have $5,700 left. I'm generally going to pay down at tight end. The guy I'm looking at tight end, I could play Schultz and go with the 3 players, but I'm not going to go with a triple stack there or the quad stack. I'm going to keep on going down here. I like Drew Sample at $3,500 again. I liked him last week, but I'm going to stick on him this week against Jacksonville. And now I've got $7,900. I could play Zeke Elliott, but I think I'm going to run it back here I'm going to play Dalvin Cook against Houston. I don't want 2 Vikings on my team. Let's get rid of Thielen. And now I have Tyreek Hill, Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, Allen Robinson, all these players I like. I'm going to go with Metcalf on a bounce back game, so I have a piece of that Seattle-Miami game. Hopefully Miami can keep in that game. I don't mind a Miami-Seattle stack as well. I'm going to submit that lineup. I'm going to jump in and see what the lineup will look at the Seattle-Miami game. So I'm going to go with Russell Wilson. I'm going to stack him with Metcalf again. and Lockett. These guys are two high-priced players. I'm going to run it back with Devontae Parker because I need to play someone in that same matchup, and Seattle's defense is not great. I'm going to go again with a cheap defense because I need to save up money. I'm going to go with the Texans again. At running back, a guy who I really like this week to bounce back, a great buy low candidate, is Kenyon Drake in that Carolina game. If I'm looking as well at that option here, I don't mind Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon at $5,800. I need to, again, pay down at tight end. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to play Tyler Kroft at Las Vegas at $3,400. I'm saving some money. And then my flex play at $5,000 left. I've got a pretty decent option with Traquan Smith, Corey Davis, Myles Gaskin. You know what? Do I go with two Miami players? Do I go Myles Gaskin here? Marvin Jones Jr., Jonnu Smith. Boy, this is tough. It's a little bit tricky. Darius Slayton I was on last week, and I was disappointed with what he did. I could go two Miami teams. I could go two Miami teams here, or Miami players, and go Myles Gaskin. Eesh. That seems risky. Guys. But you know what? I'm going to submit it. And that was another quick lineup, and that's big, major stack on that Seattle-Miami game. So let me know what other teams you're targeting. I don't mind playing the Chiefs defense against New England as well if I'm going to pay up a little bit. I did not play Gus Edwards like I said I would, but I do like that option against Washington. And then maybe pivot plays that people don't love are going to be maybe playing the Colts defense. I'm big on the Colts defense versus the Bears. I already mentioned that. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. That was a quick couple lineups here. I talked through the slate. Any questions you might have, I might make one more video this week about the DFS slate this week. So stay tuned, and we will see you next time. Bye now.